Our lives are a string of insights, flashes of inspiration that can be the catalyst for new ideas. However, our pace of life these days means we tend to miss some of them completely. I'm Dave Hill, and I'm the host of the Simple Reflections podcast, a fortnightly series of interviews with people from all walks of life. Our conversations are an invitation to reflect on some of the simple insights my guests have had that have gone on to have a profound impact on their lives. So grab a cuppa and a biscuit, join us, slow down for a little while and see what shows up for you. Welcome to the next episode of the Simple Reflections podcast. As you can see, it's just me today, and this has been the most technically challenging episode I've done. I think this is take number 5, mainly due to technical errors in the systems that I was using. But anyway, fingers crossed for this one. I think I might give up if this one doesn't work. But it's quite amusing at the same time, because the thing I wanted to talk about today was resilience, and my resilience has certainly been tested in the creation of this. Resilience has been on my mind now for a good couple of months. I was kindly invited to speak with 200 soldiers, which happened 2 weeks ago, actually, and they were having a sort of health and well-being week, looking at various different things. And I was due to speak to them on Thursday after lunch. So they'd already had 3 or 4 days worth of lectures and bits and pieces. And here I was coming after lunch after a previous lecture from someone before that. And so I thought, okay, right, how can I try and lift things? What can I do to keep them engaged and challenge them to think differently, or potentially look in a slightly different direction? So I thought I'd share that with you today. This is going to be the abridged version, though. It's going to start with me inviting you, like I did them, to be as open-minded as you possibly can. I'm certainly not asking you to believe anything I'm saying. I'd like you to run a ruler against your understanding of resilience versus mine. And in that, listen for the things that are new, the things that grab you and jump out at you. Because I'm just as human as everybody else. And my views are no more important than anybody else's. So I'd like you just to sort of gently challenge what I've got to say, but stay open-minded in the process. With those 200 young people, well, mixture of young people, some of them are older than me, but most of them are much, much younger than me. I did a little bit of simple maths with them. So there were 200 of them, and I said if the average age of them was 30, then there was 6,000 years worth of life experience in that room. And my little drop of life experience in that pales into insignificance. So it was with that in mind that we went into our conversation. Now, after the invitation, I told them what I thought resilience meant to me. And I started off with my played around with version of what the dictionary says. So the dictionary points to the fact that resilience is an individual or substance or whatever it is, whatever it might be, his ability to bounce back. You think of a stress ball and squeezing it. When you release your hand, it regains its form. It might take a little bit of time, but it'll get there, because it's going to naturally come back to its original state. Now, for me personally, I see resilience as something that's baked into every single one of us. The initial slide I put up for that talk said resilience, the piece of you that
doesn't ever quit. Um, and I firmly believe that. However, today we'll see loads of programs talking about building resilience, finding resilience, um, as if it's something that is lacking, that we need more of it. We need to become more resilient. But, my experience in life has shown me that resilience is something that I uncover, occasionally rediscover. I forget how resilient I am at times. Um, but it normally comes with the benefit of hindsight. I look back at a period of discomfort, or hardship or whatever that might be and go, oh wow, look what I've managed to come through. And I see that time and again with the clients that I work with, and the more I see it, the more it helps me realize that we are all built in the first place completely resilient, 100% resilient. We just don't necessarily realize it. And that's what I want to play around with today. That's what I want you to get curious about. And one of my previous guests, Jamie Smart, talks about two particular things that if everybody knew them, their lives would run much more smoothly. And I've sort of seen a third, so I'll give you the three as I see them, with using Jamie's as a guide to start off with. The first one is for people to understand who they really are, who they truly are moment to moment. Now that's obviously evolving. We're learning as we go, but if we have a deep embodied understanding of who we are, then we will be able to trust that much more than the front we think we need to put on to show others how we're coping. Um, the second of Jamie's points is again a realization and an understanding of how human experience is created moment to moment. That's what this whole podcast is designed to point at. It looks in that direction with the 70 plus guests now that we've had on here. We've always been looking at how they see experience being created. And the common denominator in there is it's an inside job. We are creating our own experience moment to moment through the thinking we're experiencing. Um, and if it feels and looks any different to that, that we're creating that too. Um, and the thing that I've come to realize in the last 8, 9 years of looking in this direction, um, is that not only are we 100% resilient, but we are also designed to thrive in any moment, no matter what the circumstances are. That's a fairly big, bold thing to say, but I strongly believe it. I have seen it time and time again. We have all heard stories of people that have done amazing things in the tightest of spots and been completely shocked by it afterwards. That's an inbuilt human thing. We all got that capacity. We just think our way out of it from time to time. So having shared that with this group of soldiers, I also introduced them to two keys that I see for how they can help each other. It's all well and good realizing that we're resilient, but knowing that we're going to lose sight of that from time to time is quite useful. And it's also useful knowing that the teams that we live and the families that we live within are going to lose sight of that from time to time. And how can we help remind people of that without just blatantly saying, oh, don't forget you're resilient? Um, and it comes from our capacity to listen and listen to understand, not to respond to what's being said, but to try and understand where somebody else is. And when I introduced this concept the other day, I drew two keys on the board, and hopefully, if I can get my tech sorted out, there'll be a picture of what I drew for them. And on the length of each of those keys, along its shaft, it said how curious? How curious am I being in this moment? Both with my own thinking on what's going on. Am I trying to compare this to my life's experience, or am I completely curious and open to what this moment has to offer? And also, how curious am I being about the person that I'm speaking to? Am I listening to them deeply? Am I trying to get their world and see where they're coming from? Because I'm going to be of way more service if I can orientate myself to how they see things. Now, the how is a little bit more got a little bit more depth to it. Um, you'll remember my last guest a couple of weeks ago, Melissa Ford, and during that we brought up the idea of how being honest, open, and willing. How honest, open, and willing am I to be curious in this moment? How honest, open, and willing am I to listen deeply to somebody else? How honest, open, and willing am I to listen to myself, to see where I'm getting caught out? Now, those two simple keys are amazing at helping us to connect to one another. When we connect to one another, all kinds of magic can happen. We can see things way, way more deeply. We'll come up with novel ideas that shake our view of what looked solid a minute ago. And it is that capacity that we all have in any particular moment. And in any team, as I was sharing with those soldiers the other day, there will be people that will be feeling squashed and pushed around by life as they're dealing with whatever it is that's going on in front of them. And there will be others that will be absolutely fine. And the roles will reverse. They can lean on each other's strength in those times to realize that, don't worry, they'll come through this and they'll be back on form too. Because, as I said at the start, we are all 100% resilient. So with that in mind, I want to leave you with something to reflect on, something to ponder. And it's that notion that if you were 100% resilient, you knew that at your core, what would you do differently? How would you show up differently? What would life look like if that was the case? Anyway, I'll leave you in peace. Thank you for bearing with me, and fingers crossed I've managed to sort my tech out this time. And I look forward to speaking to you in a few weeks' time. Take care. All the best.
Thank you for joining us today. If you've enjoyed the conversation, feel free to subscribe and join me and my new guest next time. If you're interested in the work I'm doing, or you think I can be of service to you or your organisation, please email dave@simplicityofmind.co.uk. Remember, see if you can find time to slow down and reflect. Those simple ideas might be worth listening to. Take care, and I hope you can join me in a couple of weeks.